The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Greetings and salutations, listener. It is I, Eric J. Chucky, joined as always by the boy.
I'm not with him. I just want to make that really.
And we are the Two Nerds Podcast.
That was my shitty Venom voice. Welcome.
Guess what we're talking about? You probably guessed from the picture and the title and the voice. It's Venom.
It's definitely Mandy.
We don't speak of that.
We're coming straight off of the Aquaman podcast. Pew, 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 pew. And it's kind of funny because there's like a symmetry between these two films. We watched them both the week of Christmas, within about 5 days of each other.
Yeah, and we kind of have opposite ways of looking. We're kind of opposite positions. We both liked both movies, but I loved Aquaman, whereas you have some issues with it, and you loved Venom a lot, whereas I have some issues with it.
I liked it a lot. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say I loved Venom. I love Venom.
But it's sort of a mirror image in that I have some issues with this movie, but I liked it, and I want to make that really clear.
All right, so speaking of mirrors, why don't we talk about the shit first? Actually, spoiler-free review. I mean, that's only fair.
Yeah.
What if we did that at the end? How pointlessly delightful would that be?
Actually, side note, I've always thought TLDR should be at the top of posts. And they're at the bottom, and that bothers me. The spoiler-free review goes at the first bit of the thing, not the end.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, you know what? We'll reverse the order here. I'll go first. Venom is...
This is a Doug Funny paper? Silt is.
It's a movie that is confused about the movie it wants to be, but the movies it's trying to be are both good. I just feel like they're done a disservice by being shoved together like that. Imagine if both halves of the movie Hancock were good.
I've not seen Hancock, but I know what it's about, so.
It's kind of like that. It's a movie that doesn't understand it, doesn't really know what it wants its identity to be. Both of the pieces of it are good, they just don't fit together. But I like the movie overall, and I like one of the halves a lot more for reasons that will become very clear. You?
I didn't have that problem with the film. I had other problems with the film, but I didn't have that problem with the film. It was a good movie overall. I would recommend it. It was better than I thought it was going to be, and I didn't think it was going to be bad.
Same. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I needed to edit out that second bit because I thought this movie was going to be garbage.
So why don't you go on a little bit more and feel free to get spoiler-y about what you didn't like about the film.
It's just the tonal whiplash. So having talked about this over the course of a couple days with a couple different people, I think I can get it down to a really clear-cut explanation of my issue. The first half hour of the movie is a different film than the rest of the movie. It's not a bad movie, it's just a very different movie. And throughout the course of the rest of the movie, it keeps, taking a little cat nap, and, the other movie will jump to the fore, and then it'll fade away again real quick. So it just gives me a really bad tonal whiplash. Whereas, you know what I should explain? The first half of the movie is a really serious, dour, kind of grim, unflattering picture of a guy who's kind of a shitty person whose life is kind of going down the shitter. It's bad person has bad things happen to them. Sympathy? And it's really dour and really kind of aggressively grim. It's not very fun to watch. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's done really well. Eddie Brock, Tom Hardy, kudos to him. He's enunciating, which is rare for him if he's not doing a stupid voice. And he does Eddie Brock really well. He plays Eddie Brock as a very believable tool. a loser, a guy who is manipulative and kind of a user and really arrogant and self-centered, but in a believable way. And the story of this dude's fall from, not even grace, fall from functional personhood is done really well. Then it becomes a Marvel movie. Because Venom shows up and it becomes an action comedy a la Ant-Man. And a really funny, fun, awesome action comedy with cool fight scenes and cool chase scenes, and Venom's really fucking funny. And the other characters get funnier because they're bouncing off this really comedic character. And Venom is a very comedic character, which is odd. But occasionally, the movie will forget that it's a Marvel movie again, and then it'll become a really serious, dour story about how this dude's life is awful, and he regrets all his decisions.
You know what?
For like 5 minutes, and then it'll go back to a Marvel movie, and it just really fucks with my ability to immerse myself in the goings-on here.
And getting a little low key here on the Two Nerds podcast. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
Have you ever seen the movie Spawn?
Yeah.
Like, how many times?
Probably a lot. I saw it a lot when I was younger. The one with
Okay.
John Leguizamo, right?
Yeah. Part of what really sold me on this is it had that Todd McFarlane energy. Like, what you're talking about is basically the tonal constant of Spawn.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it is, occasionally, you will be reminded that this guy's entire existence is pain and awfulness and hate. And then John Leguizamo is a funny fat clown.
Until he's not.
Like, but there's a better balance there. Because it's about an even keel.
Yeah,
like, you'll
I mean,
get about an even helping of both. Whereas in this movie, they front load all the serious shit at the front, except for like little niblets here and there. And then it's Ant-Man, except for the little niblets, which keep drawing me out of the really fun Ant-Man movie I'm watching.
I mean, at the same time, Ant-Man had his issues. Honestly, his issues, not all that different.
But the way he handles them is tonally a lot more consistent with the rest of that movie.
Sure. And honestly, for his... Externally, Eddie handles his shit more maturely than Eddie Brock probably should.
That's true. Eddie Brock does not lash out at the world nearly enough to be a really comics original Eddie Brock, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
He's the protagonist. You kind of got to shine him up at least a little.
Right.
I already have trouble giving a shit whether or not he lives or dies by the end of the first half of this movie. So, like, you got to give him something. If he was acting like Eddie Brock does in the comics, I would be actively rooting for the bad guy.
Man, similar bad guy to Ant-Man 2, come to think of it.
Yeah, a similar bad guy. Like, Carlton Drake is just... He's just Lex Luthor again.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket was way better, though.
Yellow Jacket... that's actually something I wanted to mention. Riz Ahmed, who does Carlton Drake, fucking amazing performance.
Oh, sure.
You were given nothing to work with. You were given a two-dimensional fucking cartoon villain. And there's this one scene where he's making a speech to like a test subject named Isaac. And I legitimately got chills because he did such an amazing job being a believable, charismatic villain. And he had nothing to work with.
A believable, charismatic sociopath.
Yeah.
I think that's a very important part of his performance, is that he turns it off as quickly as he turns it on. And it's not this huge, overdramatic shift. His face doesn't contort. He doesn't care.
And it's so clear and it's done so well. He's just incredibly self-centered and superficially charming. And that's good. He does an amazing job with, like, objectively not much to work with. Carlton Drake is a pretty two-dimensional villain in this movie, which is fine. That's absolutely fine. The movie isn't about Carlton Drake.
No.
So the movie is about fun symbiote fight scenes in Eddie Brock and Venom's two-man comedy act. And that's a great two-man comedy act, okay? It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's a tonal shift, but like I also feel like we needed that time to establish anything redeemable about Eddie Brock, especially away from Spider-Man, because that's the cave eat here. That's the old I know the word's pronounced caveat. You have to make this Venom movie without the thing that made Venom what Venom is.
Side note, something I wanted to mention. What is redeemable about Eddie Brock in the first 30 minutes of this movie? Could you explain? Because I can't.
He's misguided. He wants what everyone wants. He wants a happy life, and he wants everything that's set up. Eddie Brock is, if you will excuse my stereotyping, the perfect millennial anti-hero.
He's arrogant and entitled and believes he's right about everything. So, yeah,
but, like,
that's fair.
in a very human way.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because clearly the world and nobody else has ever given him any illusion that he shouldn't.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. And it comes back to bite him in a believable way.
It does, but, like, the redeeming thing about him is especially how he handles it. Now, he doesn't do it in a healthy way. He overdrinks. He doesn't eat enough. He's not taking care of himself. But he gives his last dollars to homeless people. He's friendly with the shop lady. He is abusing himself, but the rest of the world he's treating like a prince.
To an extent.
To a certain extent. There are exceptions, but, you know, he's mostly doing his best. And he's just deteriorating within.
And he spends the first half of this Marvel movie that starts 30 minutes after the runtime of Venom being a very reluctant tag-along hero. He's really just there
Oh my god, that performance is incredible.
He's really just there to be the guy who things happen around, who marvels at all of the cool shit going on. That way you're allowed to marvel at all the cool shit going on, too. And he does an amazing job. Look.
Yeah.
Once this movie becomes a Marvel movie, I fucking love this movie. Which, I mean, that shouldn't be surprising. Like I mentioned, it's really apparent why I like this movie.
It's got the tone of a PG-13 Deadpool, really.
Yeah.
I wish they'd gone hard R with it, because I think they could have done cooler shit. But, you know, this is okay, too.
Yeah. And there's some really funny lines. Tom Holland, I keep doing that. Tom Hardy gives a really good performance as Eddie Brock, and a performance that's kind of out of his comfort zone. Now, the thing is, Eddie Brock's supposed to be sort of jacked, but he plays himself as very physically non-confrontational.
Yeah.
In this, up until Venom shows up. He's not a physically aggro dude. I had a hard time buying him as someone, like, there's a scene in the Serious movie where he's, like, there's an extortionist. There's, like, a protection racket going on in his neighborhood, you know, quick stop. And he doesn't, like, do anything to stop it because he's an actual normal guy. No, you don't charge at the guy with the gun. He's still shaped like Tom Holland when this happens. I did it again. Why do I keep doing that?
You like Tom Holland.
I do. He's still shaped like Tom Hardy when this happens. He's still a big, beefy dude. And he's got the drop on this other guy, and he doesn't do anything about it.
Well, and I think part of the reason for that, and this is me going deep here, but, like, let me put it this way. One could argue the reason for that is he is already defeated. And as he explains to cute scientist lady...
he's done.
Yeah, I'm not fighting. I lost the fight. This is the first time the world has beat him down.
And he kind of takes it like a bitch.
And he turns it all inward and goes, no, I can't help anybody. It doesn't matter that I am a rectangle of fight. I'm powerless, clearly. I lost at this thing. I lost at the thing I'm the best at, and it took everything in my life away from me. No thanks, I haven't got that much left to give. Please don't take my tater tots.
Yeah, and also it's a good way of showing the transformation at the end of the movie when he does do something about it.
Yeah. You know, it's very, very strong character arc throughout.
Let's turn it around, because I've talked a lot about what I really like about this movie and what I don't like about this movie, what takes me out of the film. What did you like about this movie?
I really liked the decisions they made about Eddie Brock. I'm a longtime Venom fan.
More so than me, so
yeah.
I'm interested to hear your input.
And I think they did the best job they could have done with him when Spider-Man wasn't involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of like saying you did the best job you could painting the Sistine Chapel without eyes, but...
No, I don't think so. I think you did the best job you could painting the Sistine Chapel without Angels, specifically.
Really? You think they did? Do you think they did that good a job?
The characterization on Eddie Brock is fantastic. He's not a bully because he doesn't need to be a bully. Now, he's kind of bullheaded. He will kind of ignore people and charge into situations he thinks he needs to be. Self-absorbed, certainly. But he doesn't demean people because he doesn't need to. Because there's not a Peter Parker there to threaten him constantly.
That's fair.
And in juxtaposition, a Spider-Man to threaten Venom constantly. I think they did a really good job of handling the way and establishing the way the symbiote moves without trying to make a reason for webs. Which, in the comics and the extended media, they've done that a lot lately anyhow. Venom has become much more about being a goop monster than about being a Spider-Man XP.
Which is an overall positive change, I think.
Yeah, give me the
There
Marvel
is a
versus
part of me that
Capcom
goes,
Venom.
why does his face look like that? But later on they establish that his race just happens to look like that. What a weird coinkydink.
I think they distance it enough from the Spider-Man eyes. It just looks like McFarlane shit.
Yeah. Which, I mean, Todd McFarlane's art is good, so...
The only problem I have with it visually is that the wide shots where you can see his full body look a little weird without the big spider logo.
Yeah, because his chest is just empty.
Just a big, naked, black blob, man.
Yeah.
When you're in close, he's got these, like, white veins and shit running through him, but when
like,
you pull out farther at night, you can't see that, so he's just, I'm a big, black blob man with white eyes, bye.
There's a reason that chest logo is there. It breaks up the design.
It looks better that way, but, he maybe got a V for Venom. I don't fucking know. Don't do that.
That's stupid. You're stupid. You're dumb. I'm Venom.
Maybe that's why the voice didn't bother me. Long story that has.
That's
nothing
an
to do with
inside
this
joke,
podcast.
little.
Yeah, sorry, kids. It's not going to be funny if we explain it. But yeah, I think that's my favorite part of this film. I like that they lifted as much as they could from surrounding Venom lore.
Yeah, they used a lot of Venom stuff. Like Riot is an established. Riot is the secret. There's a bad Venom. Because of course there's a bad Venom.
The second trailer showed that off.
Of course there's a bad guy, and he's an established guy. He's an established bad symbiote.
There's a bunch of them. Actually,
I'm sorry. Symbiote, trademark Sony Pictures.
Symbiote is still the weird. It's symbiote, symbiotic, symbiote.
It's a symbiote, trademark Sony Pictures.
I would give you that credit, but Marvel's been doing that shit for a long time.
And they had the opportunity to set things right, they didn't.
They did not. You want to talk about things I don't like about the movie? That's one of them. She said it like 3 times in rapid succession, and I'm like, stop, just stop, I'm begging you.
They don't answer to Marvel, they're their own thing. They could have set things right.
Yeah.
They could have, if they had said symbiote in this movie,
the fans would have loved it.
They would be the champions. Mm-hmm. Someone would have put laurel leaves at their feet and ridden their executives around the city on their backs, because we all hate it. We all hate Symbiote. There is not someone who likes it. If there is, if I'm wrong and you like Symbiote, mention it in the comments.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell and we'll tell you how much we like Symbiote.
Don't ring the bell.
Those guys can ring the bell.
You know what? Yeah, Symbiote dudes, you go ahead and ring the fucking bell.
I dug that a lot. I like that it leaves the door open for other symbiote villains, other Clintar, if you will.
Oh boy, that's just the sound of everyone not nerdy enough to know what you just mentioned. Go, oh no, these are the deep nerds. I have to go.
I'm excited to see Poison if they ever get into that. Not Dr. Poison. Just Poison.
They're a good band. I mean, you laughed at that.
I did. I'm in a jolly mood now. What else did I really like about this movie? A lot of the actors were really good. I liked the energy of Dr. What's his name? He was a doctor too. The boyfriend of his ex, of Venom's ex.
Dan.
Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan Lewis, Reed Scott.
I like how Eddie interacted with him. I like
Actually,
how
you know
at
what?
first...
That's fucking Ant-Man again. Cause
Yeah, really nice guy.
like the new X, instead of being the hateable douche who makes you want to, that you want the original couple to get back together. No, like I don't want Eddie to win back his lady. I don't want him to win back Anne, because Dan's a nice guy. What the fuck did Dan ever do?
But I love
he and Dan get along, which I really like.
Yeah, I honestly really appreciate that they've turned that trope, that very heavy 90s and 2000s trope on its head in the modern era, and just been like, nah, look, they split up and they're healthy now. That's fine. But there's a specific scene where Eddie walks into a restaurant and is all hyped up on Venom and is flipping shit and going
He's
crazy.
acting like a crazy person, and Dr. Dan acts like an actual doctor and tries to help him.
Well, yeah, and he's quickly like, no, this is my patient. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of this. We'll just get him out of here. Call an ambulance. And, like, swoops in real smooth. First of all, stand-up guy, Dr. Dan. Secondly, that is the most doctor shit I've ever seen.
I know doctors. Yeah, dude, that's how they actually act. Like, almost all people who go through the incredible pain in the ass it is to become a medical professional want to help people. Asshole doctor is a trope I've never really understood in fiction. They exist in real life.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I'm glad to see we're seeing the other side of the coin from people who aren't the protagonist.
And it was so well written. Just there was so much of this movie that was so well written. I feel like I understood everyone's motivations. Even the villain, like you said.
Yeah, he has a really understandable motivation. He has a really understandable motivation, two of them actually. The first one, the one he tells other people, is that the humanity's fucking ruining the world. They're ruining the Earth, and we're gonna need an exit strategy. I'm gonna learn how to make people combined with aliens. That way, we can go live where the aliens live, and we all get to and some of us get to survive. The ones who are important, the ones I like. And then the real, actual motivation, which is just, I'm a violent sociopath and I don't give a shit about anyone else. I want to live. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And he portrays it well. I love that he doesn't just, like, needlessly kill people.
Until Riot starts, like...
Yeah, until Riot gets in his head.
And until Riot starts making it worse.
Yeah. It's just, like... I like how, actually, there's another scene at the end where he's doing a big, bad, evil thing. And, like, one of the scientists in the background is like, okay, well, we're just gonna fucking stop that. I like that the scientist did that.
They set it up in a shot where he's in center focus. You see the scientist in the background going, oh, shit. And, like, they cut to the scientist a couple times during the scene, and you see him, like, casually sliding over and grabbing the emergency protocols, looking up the codes to force stop the launch. He starts typing it in, and he would have gotten away with it, too, if it hadn't been for the meddling Clintar, because then Riot murders him.
But it's really good. It's a subdued and different version of what happened in, what was it, Captain America 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not as big of an emotional moment, but it's a very human, like,
okay,
I'm not going to let this fucking happen, and he's not looking at me, so...
It works out way less good for this guy than it did for the guy in Captain America in Winter Soldier.
Yeah, like, this little small shit like that is really nice. I do have to say, I believe there's a point, speaking of small shit, where they're looking at Venom through the heat vision.
Yeah.
And because Eddie is in the middle of Venom, on the heat vision, it looks like the Spider-Man logo.
That's
and I was
nice.
like, classy.
That is classy.
What did we say last podcast? You put him in the fucking costume.
You put him in the fucking costume. I don't care how stupid it looks. You put him in the costume. And the Venom suit. Oh god. Yeah. Again, the fucking comedy is so on point. And there's tiny stuff, and there's a really big laugh line right before the line I'm thinking of. But he faces a bunch of SWAT guys, and Eddie's like, guys, please don't. You don't want none of this. You don't want none of this, Dewey Cox. And the SWAT team says something like masks, and then like the other SWAT guys go check, and then they put the masks on. And when it becomes clear the SWAT guys are ready to fight, he goes, okay, have it your way, mask, and then you hear Venom, check, and then he transforms into Venom. And that's that kind of good comedy duo shit that you just... It just makes me like those two dudes and want them to succeed.
Yeah.
The Big Lifeline right before that had me rolling, but I'm not going to ruin that for you.
There's a lot of great... That's actually a good scene in general for a lot of great stuff that happens in the movie.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about your friends.
Oh, no, the one way before
yeah, that was earlier.
Yeah, that was in the apartment. God, that made me laugh my shit.
Like I said, man, once Venom shows up and starts talking, the movie gets not better. The other movie is also good. I just happen to like the second movie more.
It does kind of snap you. And at first, if you're walking into that and thinking about it like a regular superhero movie, and this happened to me, you're going, wow, what a great thing for your fucking hero to do. And my brain immediately went, Eddie Brock is not a hero, moron.
Yeah.
Like, this guy isn't as bad as Walter White, but he's still not a hero.
He's not supposed to be someone you inherently want to root for. He earns your sympathy throughout the movie because he gets real fucked up. And he becomes heroic. He goes and tries to save the day by the end of the movie, where he's earned your sympathy. He's earned his status as the protagonist, which he very much does in the first 30 minutes. Again, I wouldn't have a problem with that if it wasn't so tonally different. And if they hadn't, if the first 30 minutes isn't where that's where you set the tone for the movie. That's where you tell the audience what they can expect. Mm-hmm. To do that for like 30 minutes and then take a hard left turn into not an entirely different genre, but a pretty different genre, it jars me, man.
Well, and like, I think they tried to put jokes in the first 30 minutes. They just weren't funny.
They put a couple in.
Like the way he's talking to the cat and like other things. It seems less like actively laugh out loud funny, like the banter between Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy with vocal filters. But like instead it just sort of lands sad.
Yeah, it's not
like this is what a sad
movie.
Man thinks is funny.
It's not a comedic movie. It's this guy is being funny. Like in real life, when someone is funny in the same room as you, they're doing stuff that is obviously designed to get a laugh, and it doesn't. That's the energy.
Yeah. Which if they're trying for that,
you guys did a fucking great job. I literally had that moment where you shifted uncomfortably in your seat. Like, oh man, that's not funny, and I don't want to pity laugh.
But that's another thing they do as well, because like they need a reason for Venom to not act like the rest of the Clintar, and they need, which is a word they don't use in this movie.
Which is dumb because it's a good word. Instead, they use a different word.
Venoms.
Vemi.
Look at all these dang Venoms.
Venomy.
Pretty sure the bad guy says that at one point.
Look
at all my dang Venoms.
The plural of Venom is Venom. I got 20 head of Venom down at the ranch.
I lost my train of thought here. The thing they need to do to bring Eddie and Venom together in comic books is, fuck Spider-Man.
Agreed!
In this, they needed something. So they made Venom, the symbiote, kind of a loser. And they spend that first 30 minutes of the movie going, no, you don't understand, buddy. I know you came here for Venom, but Eddie Brock is dumb and sucks. That's important, and I will tell you why later, but you need to see how shitty he is.
That way, Venom, goes, oh, he's a loser like me.
I feel bad for him, and I want him to get back together with his girlfriend.
I like his girlfriend. She's got moxie. Yeah. I could never get a girlfriend because I'm a loser too. No, we're gonna get Eddie, his girlfriend.
So yeah, I think the first 30 minutes of the movie are important for that. I mean, the tonal shift is there. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna pretend like it doesn't exist. But I rolled with it,
Hey, if it doesn't, and look, I'm not saying that you have to be, listener, you have to be, impacted by this. I hope you're not. If this didn't fucking suck me right out of the movie and just fuck with my ability to enjoy it, that when the hard shift occurred, I would be happy because I could like this movie a lot more, and I already like it a fair bit. If that doesn't happen to you, good. I'm not happy that it happened to me, but it is an issue I found.
That's fair. Any final thoughts on Venom? Well, here's the thing to talk about. Any thoughts on that that post credits scene?
Oh, baby. The movie went up maybe a letter grade in fucking 3 minutes. What casting!
Great dialogue too. Great choices.
Yes, yeah, great choices. They actually foreshadow the post-credit scene at the end of the movie, which is nice. And then they do the post-credit scene, and these motherfuckers cast Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
Bold, interesting choice.
I would not have... It's great casting.
That's not who I would have cast.
I would not have cast Woody fucking Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy.
But it's good casting.
It's good casting, and that's actually one of the reasons I love it, because...
I honestly think who I would have cast would have been worse.
Same. That's better than I would do. And Marvel casting is usually so on point. That's exactly who that should be. And sometimes it's even, I figured that would be who they would cast, and good job. But, this was surprising in a really positive way. It's as surprising as Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, and exactly oppositely as good an idea. This is an excellent idea, and I didn't see it coming.
Yeah. I was happy with it. I was happy with Venom.
So was I overall. We done here?
Don't watch Mandy.
Don't watch Mandy. Everything's better when nerds talk about it.
Fuck it, let's get hardcore!